Ahem. Hey, how's it going? Hope you all are having a good Wednesday. I genuinely can't remember if we actually went over any of it in the English, but man. I looked back over, especially some of those fortional lines, and it's bleak. Like, I still need to wake up a little bit, so this is a good intro bit. Put some clothes on, by the way. You're freezing. You have to be freezing here. Put some clothes on. What's wrong with you? But this actually, like, this fully encapsulates probably, you know, I say that a lot of things are, like, one of my favorite things about the game, but I think that this is a genuine example, or this is a genuine sign of good writing in really any type of story. And it's something that's very difficult to do. Which is, in the Japanese, in the original script, the professional writers are very, very good at having characters that are heroic, that are the good guys, that are the characters that are supposed to be, generally speaking, in the right in the situation that you are supposed to sympathize with, who disagree with one another. Like, you have all of these different city-states with their own different cultures and their own different philosophies, and they're still managing to work together in service to common goals. But this, like, here, I'll pull up the Japanese for this, for that fortional discussion first, to go back over it, because it's really interesting. Someone is pinging me. This is the person who is... God damn it. I want to tell them to put some clothes on, but still. Anyway. I can't be getting bogged down. Okay, here we go. Apologies for not having this lined up ahead of time, but this, I believe, is genuinely very interesting. Okay, so, here's that speech from Forchinal about Charlayan and, like, Garlemald's claim to these, like, their various homelands, right? The first line is just saying, like, hey, let's, you know, let's, collaborate our information, right? It's like, yeah, what I heard from them was basically the same. The army guarding Vox Amonis was utterly destroyed, you know, following the apocalypse. And then everybody returned. They came back to Garlemald, you know, to their homeland seeking protection. Okay, the first handful of lines are pretty much just recap. I probably shouldn't have even pulled these up, but It's like, yeah, the capital, after they came back, was utterly devastated. The hope that they could one day recapture Los Salmones was utterly shattered. But then here's where he really starts to get into the... Yeah, right here is where he really starts to get into academic monologue mode. So then, why are they then so fixated on Los Salmones? You know, it's like, it is said, or one could say that it is the, it's regarded as their ancestral homeland. However, they were invaded by the Corvosi 800 years ago. Like, the Corvosi, seeking warm and fertile territory, invaded them over 800 years ago. And they were driven out to the frozen north of Eburana. We will reclaim our home that was taken, that was stolen from us. That was the slogan held up by Sol, the first emperor of the Garlem Old Empire, which led droves to rise up, or to, like... Okay. That slogan by Sol, the first emperor, drove the populace towards war. And in truth, they did reclaim that land. Reclaim being in quotes. However, I ask you to think. Before it became known as Los Salmones, even earlier before that, in an even earlier age, to whom did that land belong? Leaving aside the ancients, during the third, astral calendar, it was under the control of the Allegan Empire, of the multi-ethnic Allegan Empire. Diverse. One could hardly say that it has been controlled by the Garleans since prehistoric times. And even supposing that the ancestors of the Garlean people had lived in that land since prehistory, does the simple fact that they were there first justify their exclusion of other peoples from the territory? This is the true nature of war that we Charlayans so utterly despise. Like, war is always claimed to be just, yet this just cause for war, like this just war, does not exist. If we cannot, end this barbaric cycle, then mankind will forever be ... So, the thing is that Fortunal... Exactly! That's the thing, is that Fortunal is still speaking in a haughty, holier-than-thou position. From a haughty, holier-than-thou position. He's still talking about the generalized concept of war. There is no such thing as a just war. We Charlayans know that this is truly barbaric. Right, the core lines here are... The core line here is that, like, war is always claimed to be just, yet such justice does not exist. You know, he says, like, shin no seigi. As in, like, true justice. There is no, like, objective justice. I think Raoban would completely disagree with this monologue. Raoban would disagree with this monologue. Fucking Lise would disagree with this monologue. Hien would disagree with this monologue. Yugiri would disagree with this monologue. Merlwib would disagree with this monologue. The characters in the stories aren't just mouthpieces for the writers. Like, it's not Fortional is a good guy, therefore he's going to say exactly what the writers think and nothing else. That's not how you write fiction. He's still being, like, he's still turning around and he's still, like, doing heroic things, but he actually has his own morals and values and convictions that differ from the other characters, and that the player is free to find objection with. Or rather, you know, find objectionable. Now, let's look at this in English. Notice that the point of it, the point of that whole segment in the Japanese, was that he was talking about war in general. He's generalizing war. He's not talking about the Garleans, really. He's using the Garleans as an example to make a greater point. That's a very big distinction, and it's something that you actually need to have, like, reading comprehension to be able to understand. That even though he's talking about the Garleans, and he's talking about the, like, this specific area that's in contention, he's not actually making a moral judgment there. Especially considering that he says, like, yeah, the Corvosi invaded just because they wanted warm, fertile land. Like, they launched an invasion, they took it. He makes the explicit statement, they were the aggressors in that situation. Did you learn aught of how they came to be in such dire straits? I see, I heard much of the same. The military forces of Locos Amonis were defeated in the wake of the final days. Desperate to survive, they naturally fled to Garlemald seeking sanctuary. It was their hope the might of the Empire would allow them to reclaim the home they were forced to abandon, but the capital was already in ruin when they arrived. Needless to say, the lands they have long believed to be the ancestral home of the Garlean people may remain forever lost to them. Those unfamiliar with history would believe they have always resided in the bitter cold climes of northern Ilsavard, but that was only after the Corvosi invaded 800 years prior. No context given for the Corvosi invasion. With the advent of Magitech, I imagine it was all too easy for Emperor Solus to rally his people and take back what they believed to be rightfully theirs. We're already editorializing. Forshino in the Japanese is not giving this opinionated rant about the specific actions. He's not talking about the advent of Magitech. He gives the exact historical context, he gives the exact quote from Sol. To give context, he's speaking like an academic, recounting history. This is not an academic recounting history. Also, where's the statement of saying, like, he starts the whole thing in the Japanese by saying, like, why then are they so fixated on Rokusamone, Omoenis, whatever, however the hell you actually say it. Right, like, that's a thing that actual academics do? Like, if you're giving a lecture, you ask the question? Instead, he's just kind of like preaching. So not only are they just like dumbing it down, but they're also going to completely miss the point right here. Yet history would tell us true that the land they call Locus Amoenus has been known by other names and served as home to myriad people. Indeed, one need only look back to the Allegans' reign in the Third Astral Era to give the lie to Garlean claims of sovereignty. Yet even had they such ancestral ties to Locus Amoenus, antecedents cannot justify their animosity to foreign peoples. That's not what animosity means? You completely removed his actual point by just saying animosity. No, he said exclusion. Removal. Animosity doesn't necessarily mean exclusion. You don't know what words mean. Animosity, poorly veiled by delusions of justice, as has been the case for so many nations throughout history, would that man had the sense and strength of will to break free from such chains of hatred. I'm sorry, what nations wasn't it the case for? Because you see, in Japanese, he was saying that it's the case for all instances of war. He was making a generalized statement about the concept of war. The translators literally didn't understand what Fortunato was talking about, and instead just reduce it to a generalized mush of Garlemald bad. The Japanese is saying that Garlemald's actions were abhorrent and incorrect, but they're giving, like, actual historical context and nuance, and they're having Fortunato actually make a flawed argument. The point is that his argument is flawed? The player is supposed to be able to come away from this with their own conclusion? Also, where's the statement that the Allegan Empire was multi-ethnic? That's actually a key point that they just removed. But the biggest thing that they removed was this stupid animosity poorly veiled by delusions of justice, instead of saying, this is the true nature of war. That we Charlanes so utterly despise. You've removed the point. It's very annoying. Hang on, where in the hell actually is the quest? Oh no. Wait, where's the quest? Ah, it's there. All the way over there. Huh? Wait a second, what the hell? Oh, god damn it. 1 second. My mouse software was not actually running, meaning none of my hotkeys worked. But it's genuinely, like, the game is amazingly well written. Specifically because they can have these characters go on long, impassioned monologues without them just being, here's what I as the writer personally think. Here are the bad guys, they are specifically bad in all ways. Here are the good guys, they are specifically good in all ways. I'm going to look directly at the camera and tell you, the player, what to think. No, instead they can have characters that you're supposed to, like, sympathize with, but not necessarily fully agree with. You can have characters that work together, that are on the same side, but have very different viewpoints. Like, all of the random opinion injection of, like, this gives the lie to Garlean claims. What is that bullshit? He was making a generalized argument. It's like they have no idea how academic thought works. He was just using Garlemald as an example for war. He was saying, like, even if the Garleans were to have had exclusive control of the area since prehistory, does that justify their exclusion of other peoples from the region? He's like... He's not just looking at you and telling you exactly what to think. Oh yeah, one other thing. I did get Mort actually working. It's back to normal, which is quite nice. There's like the true... This is either the true Garlemald or, like... You'd probably say the true Garlemald.
これにて、機関車たちが抱える絶望への対策は、
Garlean.
前進したと考えていいだろ
う。Or like the, you know... Ooh, 1 second. Yeah, I would not, under any circumstances, recommend JP with MTL. Like, if you know enough Japanese to... If you know enough Japanese to be able to tell when MTL is wrong, and you have something along the lines of a dictionary app, you know, like Yomitan or something, then absolutely do that. You know, it's going to take longer, it's going to be difficult, but do that. But you really do need to be able... You need to have enough Japanese knowledge to tell when the MTL is wrong. If you want to go that route. Like, it's the difference between using it as a crutch and using it as a tool. You know? If it's purely a crutch, then you're going to very likely come away with incorrect assumptions. You know, there's going to be situations wherein lines get attributed in the wrong direction. Especially. Like, without specific context, you know, characters are going to talk about things and they're going to be like, oh, he told me that. Or they're going to say like, oh, what they did, what X did to Y. When in reality, it's the other way around. Just because of the way that the dropping of subjects and directionality words and stuff like that work. We've taken a step forward in addressing the, like, resolving the despair experienced by the refugees. But next I would like to, revisit the what issue that we had put on hold. How to, what, break through the barrier, protecting the falsified base.
偽真珠の行動は、変異する前の人格が抱いていた思いに影響されるという。ならば、正体を探ることは無意味ではあるまい。
No, yeah, that could definitely do some that work can lead to some very funny MTLs. Okay, but like here, this is a perfect example. I was just talking about this. This is a perfect example. If you don't know enough Japanese, you would read this MTL up here, and you would see there is no point in searching for its true identity. When in reality it said, ならば、正体を探ることは無意味ではあるまい. The MTL got filtered by a double negative. Right, like, this is a thing that can happen a lot. That could potentially, like, really screw up your comprehension of what's going on. Now, of course, this doesn't really make sense, right? You could probably figure out that this is an error just because it doesn't make sense. But still. I've heard that or I'm told that the actions, the behavior of the false divine beasts are influenced by their nature from when they were alive, or like before their transformation, yeah. Yeah, if so, attempting to ascertain their true identity would surely be of some use.
ここは、ネルワと関係が深かった第3軍団の者に話を聞くのがいいだろう。
Okay. I believe it would be best to, speak with someone of the 3rd Legion who was, closely related, or had close associations with Nerva.
ヒルサバード派遣団に拘束された兵たちは、精神汚染の除去が行われた後も、負傷の治療のため、キャンプブロークングラスに留め置かれていたはず。
I believe the soldiers, is that 拘束? Yeah, I guess you would say, detained by the Ilseware contingent, were to remain in, Camp Broken Glass following their, or, for treatment of their injuries following the removal of their mental affliction.
派遣団の情報将校に
But I really do just, I love this game so much. The story of it is so fucking good. And then just seeing this... It's like reading a book report or, Spark Notes by someone who clearly didn't understand the fucking book, man. Here is my book report for Catcher in the Rye. Holy is super cool, and I want to be like him when I grow up. The end.
「そういうことならば、第3軍団の軍団長、ウェルギリアに話を聞くといいでしょう。
Okay, you should speak with the... What... Gilia? Commander of the 3rd Legion?
まだ怪我は完治していませんが、話を聞く程度なら問題ないはずです。彼女を連れてきますので、近くの天幕でお待ちください。
Her injuries have not yet fully healed, but she should have recovered enough by now to answer a few questions. I'll bring her out. Please, wait in the tent nearby. Or it's like I'll lead her to you. I'll bring her over. Why don't we have walls for any of this shit? Hey, what's up? You're the hero of... This is unclear of whether you want to say the hero of, because she is saying, like, Eorzea no. AU is definitely the follow-up there. Oh, damn. This usage of imasara. Imasara is one of those phrases that is just so jam-packed with meaning. I love it. It's like now, of all times, or now after so long, right? You know, now knowing that it is far too late, etc. You know, she's saying, what do you have, like, what could you possibly need from a defeated enemy general, now of all time? Right, like, that's not what you would actually translate this to, but the meaning there is, like, you dragged me out here, I'm a humiliated, defeated commander of a foreign army. Why are you talking to me now? What could you possibly need?
状況だけに本題から入らせてもらいたい。まず、私たちが調べた情報を共有しよう。
God. 状況だけ? That's like, given the present circumstances... I'd like to get straight to the matter at hand. Firstly, allow me to share the information we've gathered, we've ascertained.
以上のような状況から、我々は偽真珠の正体が行方不明のネルアであるとの疑念を強めている。
以上のような状況から。This is like, I would almost say in summary. In summary, we are... We believe it to be highly probable. Where it's like, what, we're... Because it's saying that's like increasingly... Like, we are increasingly convinced that the true identity of the false divine beast is the missing Commander Nerua. Well, he really just says missing Nerua. Commander Nerua.
彼の最後を知るのは、ネルア派の筆頭格であった君のはず。どうか、君が知っていることを話してもらいたい。
Considering your leading position or your high rank within his faction. I believe it's likely that you know his, like, final movements. Like his final actions. Or you might know something, rather. Please tell me what you know about him. Or, yeah, please tell me what you know.
わかった。と言っても、大したことを知っているわけではないわな。
Alright, though, it's not as though I know anything, what, particularly significant.
私がネルーア様と最後に会ったのは、大愛軍団との内戦が激化し始めた直後のことだ。場所は我々が本営を置いていた元老院の地下室。
Okay, the last time I saw Lord Nerua was shortly after the, what? Civil War with the First Corps, First Legion, whichever one you want to say, I guess, began to intensify, or began to accelerate, maybe you would say. But it was in the basement of the Senate where our headquarters was located.
日がな1日、
You would probably say like the
室にこもり、取り憑かれたように
Senate building.
情報を求めてラジオにかじりついていた。戦いの趨勢が気になっていたのだろう。
What, day in, day out, he secluded himself in the, what, basement? Or where we had evacuated, or that where he had evacuated to? Like, utterly inseparable from the... What, from the radio in a, like, obsessive search for information? What, concerned or anxious about the what? Yeah, it is like direction the fighting was
だ
taking.
が残念ながら私が知っているのはそこまでだ。その後、前線に出た私はバブイルの塔から鳴った音を聞いて、すぐに正気を失ってしまったからな。
Unfortunately, that's all I know. After that, I left for the front lines, began to hear what those strange noises coming from the Tower of Balwheel, and lost my sanity soon after.
派遣団の者から聞いたが、鉱石ラジオがあれば、精神汚染を防げたのだろう？だとすれば、ネルーア様は、その時点では、無事だったはずだ。
What I heard from a member of the contingent, that what crystal radios were capable of preventing this mental contamination. In that case, I believe, or like I believe that Lord Nerua should have been safe at that time.
しかし、ネルーア様は熱烈な愛国者であられた。それこそ、永遠の繁栄を祖国にという言葉をモットーとして掲げるほどに。
However, Lord Nerua was an ardent patriot. But so much so that he made... Or like, yeah, adopted the motto. what eternal... Yeah, it's eternal prosperity to the motherland, or to the... You would either say motherland or fatherland. I'm not quite sure which one you would go with.
そんな愛国者が帝都の崩壊を目の当たりにすれば、誰よりも深く絶望したことだろう。
Yeah, if a patriot like him were to witness the destruction of destruction, collapse of the imperial capital, I'm sure he would have fallen into a deeper despair than anyone else.
やはり、偽真珠の正体は、ネルアであると考えて良さそうだな。
It does seem safe to assume. Yeah, it's safe to assume it's fine for that the true identity of the falsifying beast is Nerua.
偽真珠がバブイルの塔に居座っているという点も、その疑いを強めているように思える。
And the fact that falsifying beast has taken up, or yeah, I guess you would say remains rather within the Tower of Babel, furthers that, or yeah, reinforces that suspicion, that hypothesis.
魔道場の慣れの果て、ネルーア様が求めたガレマール帝国の中枢にして皇帝の座所なのだから。
After all, that tower is what remains of the Magitech castle. The heart of the Garlemald Empire. The seat of the Emperor that Lord Nerua so desired.
だが、帝国は滅びたのだ。不憫なネルーア様をもう楽にしてやってくれ。
But now the Empire has fallen. Fubin. She's describing him as, like, pathetic in the classical sense. I don't know, you might even say, like, please, like, take pity on him and put him to rest. Or take pity on him and put him out of his misery.
"話してくれて感謝する。獣に転じた者は、討伐してやることが唯一の救いだ。必ず彼を安らかに眠らせると誓おう。
Thank you for your time. You know, for those who have transformed into beasts. I don't know, you might say slay for this, like, slaying them is the only way to save them. I promise you will allow him to rest in peace. Hey, you want to know what this whole thing where Fortuno is being incredibly diplomatic gets reduced to in English? All of these lines are incredibly important. This is, this is how you do diplomacy. This is how you, like, communicate with people and build rapport. Thank them for their time. Reassure them that you're doing the right thing. Provide the thing that they are asking you to do. This is 3 layers of attempting to convince this woman that they are not the enemy. That they appreciate her time, that they will do this, and affirming that there is no other way. All of that in the English We will fell the beast, you have my word. I think there's a lot of that line that's missing from this. I don't know. Seems like there's like 2 whole ass other sentences that you didn't translate, and the one sentence that you tried to translate, you translated wrong. Oh, my mistake. Technically, this is 2 sentences in the English, even though it really shouldn't be. Yet no statement of comfort or anything. 必ず彼を安らかに眠らせると誓おう. Like, he doesn't say we'll fell the beast. He says we'll lay him to rest. Those are very different statements.
"取り込み中のところ悪いな。カヌエさんが到着して、こちらも動き出したもんでな。お邪魔させてもらったぜ."
God, I love MTL. I love MTL so much. Torikomichu and downloading. God, that's funny. God, that's funny. I'm sorry to interrupt. Kane-sena has... Kane has arrived. Things are getting underway. So we figured we ought to stop by.
古主の様、どうぞよろしくお願いします。
She's just saying that's just a greeting and a pleasure.
の障壁ですが、すでに目星がついております。あれはエーテルを用いた魔法障壁と考えて良いでしょう。
Okay. Okay, regarding the false divine beast's barrier, I believe I already have an idea of its structure. We can safely assume that it is a magical barrier constructed via ether.
お言葉だが、それは魔法の心得があるものならば、誰もが真っ先に考えつき、即座に否定する仮説でしょう。
Huh. God, he's such an asshole. I love him. 考えつき、即座に否定する仮説。What an asshole. It's not actually that ridiculous, but it's just like, it's the way that they have the characters talk, that everybody speaks in these very different nuanced ways. Yeah, and then they don't have him talk like this in the English. I'm looking over it, and everybody just talks the same. The flavor is gone. This okotoba daga. What do you say for that in English? What do you say for that? Hang on. There's something that's on the tip of my tongue here. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. This is one of those ones where, God, this happens so often. You see an expression in Japanese, and it deletes the equivalent expression in English. because they're just formulated so differently. This is with all due respect. With all due respect, that is the first thing that anyone with any knowledge of magic would consider and just as quickly dismiss. Like, what an asshole thing to say, by the way. It's so good. This is what the Charlayans talk like. With all due respect, that is the first thing that anyone with any knowledge of, like, that anyone sufficiently knowledgeable in magic would consider, and then just as readily dismiss. And then readily dismiss. But, like, look at the comparison here between this and the English. Because it's just like the flavor is gone. I love the flavor here of the way that Forshino talks. Like, 誰もが真っ先に考えつき、即座に否定する仮説でしょ。Like, he's speaking in these very haughty, absolute terms. Which is a thing that, like, the Charlayans tend to do. This is a very academic thing to say, for someone who's very confident in their field, and is very, like, versed in debate. He's coming out of the gate swinging here. He's saying, with all due respect, that is the first thing that anyone with sufficient knowledge of magic would consider and readily dismiss. Like, immediately. He's saying, like, you would think about it, and then you would go, no, that's not possible. Instantly, discard the idea. Like, the zokuzani, shitei suru. Like, almost like it's an automatic reflex. You go, maybe it could be etheric. No, it literally can't be. What am I even thinking? No, of course not. I've spoken with Lorens of the ward protecting the blasphemy, and I'm quite confident some manner of ether-based magic bars our path. That's also completely wrong. She doesn't talk like that. She said, I believe it is safe to assume that the barrier is... Like, this is a barrier created via ether. This is a magical barrier created via ether. If I may be so bold, Elder Seedseer, we reached the same conclusion initially, but that simply is not possible. That isn't at all what he said, by the way. He didn't say we reached the same conclusion initially. That would mean that he was an idiot. They didn't reach that conclusion. He's explicitly saying that they didn't reach that conclusion. You can't read. He's saying that is the first thing that anyone knowledgeable in magic would consider and then immediately dismiss. They didn't reach that conclusion. They considered it briefly and rejected it outright as a conclusion. You don't understand how logic and thinking works. Like, okay, if somebody said the first conclusion that any, like, detective would make, you know, we've got a wife who was murdered. The first thing that any detective would consider is that the husband, or, like, that the husband of this woman was the murderer. However, we immediately dismissed that because we had hard evidence that he was not present at the scene of the crime. That doesn't mean, you wouldn't say, we reached the conclusion that he was the murderer initially. That isn't what you would say. That isn't a conclusion. It's an initial hypothesis. It's an initial assumption. That's not what the word conclusion means.
「終末の獣とは、エーテルが腐り落ちた存在であり、エーテルによって行使される魔法は、理論上は使えないはず。故に、思いが動かす力、デュナミスを利用しているのでは？」
The beasts of the apocalypse are, what, entities born of corrupted or, decaying corrupted ether. Theoretically, they should be entirely incapable of utilizing what magic fueled by ether. Could it be perhaps instead that this barrier is created utilizing, it's like the power of will dunamis instead?
ええ、おっしゃる通りです。しかし、私はガレマルドに降り立った時から感じています。莫大なエーテルが大地を流れ、あの塔に集まっていると。
Yes, you're quite right. However, I have felt it ever since setting foot here in Garlemald. There's a vast quantity of ether flowing through the ground, collecting within the tower.
バブイルの塔は世界各地の終末の塔から月に至る道を開くためエーテルを集めていました。
Okay, this is just recap. The Tower of Bobwheel was, accumulating ether to, create a path from the, Towers of Apocalypse to the moon.
その機能を利用していれば、エーテルを持たない存在が魔法障壁を展開することも可能ではないでしょうか。
Yeah, if that functionality were to be utilized, then would it not be possible for an entity devoid of ether to deploy a magical barrier?
とはいえ、これはあくまで仮説。これより地脈の調査に赴きたいと考えているのですが、ご協力をお願いできないでしょうか。
However, this is still merely a hypothesis. I intend to go personally to investigate the ley lines. Could I please ask for your assist? Would you be so kind as to assist? Okay, yeah.
私も連れて行ってくれないか。負傷により戦うことはできないが、それでもここにいる誰よりも、ガレマルドの地理には詳しいつもりだ。
Oh my god. Okay, this tone, man. But can you take me with you as well? I might not be able to fight due to my injuries, but I know without any doubt that I know what the geography of Garlemald better than anyone else.
Of
course, that would be quite all right with me. But notice how she comes off in the Japanese as, desperate. She jumps up, she stutters, she's, trying to plead her case of being, I can be useful to you. I can do this. Please let me go with you. I would join you as well, if I may. My injuries may keep me from being of use in battle, but my knowledge of the land should serve just as well as my blade. One, who talks like this? Two, where's her desperation? Where's, like, any of the flavor or point of the line? Are you supposed to care about this person at this point? Like, that line in the Japanese actually, like, kind of turned me around on this character. At first I thought she was like, oh, this is gonna be like she's like a hardliner who's just given up entirely. But here, where she has this very human reaction to the situation, and is asking, like, can you take me with you? I might not be able to fight with my injury, but I know I've got the best knowledge of the geography of Garlemald out of anybody here. Like, she's desperate in this for some reason. Probably because she, like, you know, really wants to free Nerua from the nightmare situation that he's in. So long as she's with you, I believe that wouldn't be of any issue. I don't believe there would be any problem.
それでは、最も太い地脈が流れる場所、ウルバニッシュ膜のあたりに向かうことにしましょ
う。Okay, she's asking, we're saying that we're gonna go up toward the thickest ley lines are. Who the hell are you? Is that gonna be like, that's, I have no idea who that actually is. I'm not gonna pretend. Like I remember Boots. See, I was gonna say Nero, but I was like, I don't remember him wearing those type of boots, and also, why would he be here? Hey, look, notice how that's, like, actually the same thing as what just happened with Fortuno? I thought, maybe that could be Nero, and then I immediately dismissed that possibility. I didn't reach the conclusion. I specifically didn't reach the conclusion. I reached the conclusion that I didn't know whose feet those were. I know I'm harping on that a lot, but it's just like, it's so embarrassing when people try to write above their skill level. And that's a very asshole thing to say, but I don't give a shit. Like, they're not actually intelligent. They don't know what words mean. They're just throwing things in that they've seen other people say, with no intelligent thought behind it.
もし、本当に偽真珠の正体がネルーア様なら、私は守るべき人を守れなかった。装束のもとに、羊毛で作られた襦袢を。
I'm sorry, what the fuck? Thank you for the information, Yugiri. She's saying that she's wearing, like, wool underneath her armor. But it is getting cold.
ラウバーン隊長から直に到着すると連絡があった。しかし、あいつ、この寒さの中、どんな格好で現れるんだ？ちょっとした見物だな。
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, that's fun. This is saying, like, yeah, Captain Rawbon said he would be arriving soon, but... You know, it's like, what... You know, what is he going to be, like, wearing in this cold? You know, be a real spectacle? You know, that'll be a sight to see. Considering Rawbon, he's probably going to be massively either like massively over-prepared for the cold in so many layers that he can't move, or massively underprepared. 0% chance he shows up in something
まさ
appropriate.
か魔法障壁とは魔法が増えて流れ暗人だからと最初に可能性を否定していた。固定観念にとらわれ、柔軟な発想に欠けていたということか。
Huh, look at that! I can't believe it was a magical barrier. I had dismissed that possibility. Like, from the start, considering what Garlean's lack of, like, magical capability. However, it's appeared as though my, like, adherence to stereotypes prevented me from thinking as flexibly as was required. Again, academic. That whole thing, in English, by the way, is just, it would seem I underestimated the resourcefulness of our adversary. That's it. That's it.
"思った通りでした。エーテルが地脈を通って塔へと流れています。
It's just as I thought. Ether is flowing through the landlines directly towards the tower.
かつてテロフォロイは世界各地に終末の塔を出現させ
Okay, that's just recap about what Terraforming were doing.
したがってバブイルの塔に流れ込んでいたエーテルの本流
And the Towers of the Apocalypse have disappeared, therefore the torrent of ether flowing to the Tower of Bubwheel. Or I believed the Tower of, the torrent of ether flowing to the Tower of Bubwheel ought to have stopped. It's really more like it should have ceased.
おい、いい加減姿を現したらどうだ。バブイルの塔にいたやつだろ。悪いが、俺の目からは逃れられないぜ。
Hey, why don't you just, show yourself already? You're the guy who was at the Tower of Bubwheel, right? Sorry, there's no getting past my eyes. There's no getting past me. Who is? Oh shit, it was, okay, yeah, it was new.
なかなか冴えてるじゃないか。
God, what an asshole. Oh, you're pretty sharp, aren't you?
お前は確かネロと言ったな。なぜこのような場所に
You're Nero, aren't you? What are you doing here? Nero.
おいおいおい、ここは俺にとっても祖国なんだぜ。里帰りしてたって不思議はないだろうが。
Fuck. Anytime I can't see oi 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 without thinking of that fucking Baki the Grappler panel. Oi 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 oi. God, I love that panel. Hang on. This is a fantastic Japanese Twitter meme. Absolutely wonderful. one moment. I am incapable of seeing this and not just immediately thinking this. Oi, oi, oi. 死ぬわ、あいつ. I believe in this panel, I think it's Bucky, is drinking just like a 2-liter of Coke as a sports drink. Which is legitimate. That's a thing. That is a real thing. And then the author goes on to be like, actually, it's actually fairly sensible. That's a thing that, like, endurance athletes actually will do. But it's just this panel. Oi, oi, oi. That dude's gonna die. But just this? There we go. Oi, 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 oi. I can't see this without thinking of that. It's mandatory. It is burned into my brain. But also, just like, Nero is such an asshole. I love him. Hey, 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 this is my homeland. You know. It really shouldn't be surprising that I'm, like, back home to visit. Like... this is so lame. This is so lame. It's so boring. He's being a smug asshole here. In the English, who said I'm following you, being a native of Garlemald, does it not stand to reason I might be inclined to come home and see what has become of my home? That's so boring. Instead of oi oi oi, ここは俺にとっても祖国なんだぜ. It's like, hey, 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 this is my homeland. What's weird about me being back to visit? That's the tone that he should be having. Like, hey, come on now. Nothing weird about that. He's supposed to have that constant, like, smug, wry grin to him. This sort of laid-back, confident, casual tone.
ふざけたことを。
いや、ふざけたことを。
プランでいるのなら、シドに連絡をして。
ふざけたことを。She's immediately calling that out as being bullshit. It's like, what, cease this nonsense? If you're up to anything untoward, I'll get in contact with Sid immediately.
どうして奴の名前が出てくるんだよ。いいか、俺様はあの凡庸なボンボンと違ってこの星に泊まっていられるほど小さな才能じゃないんでね。
God, I love him. What a piece of shit. It's like, why do we need to be... why are we talking about Sid? This isn't, like, referring to the confectionery. It's like... I think this is basically saying rich kid, right? Look, unlike that utterly mediocre rich kid. Like, I'm not the sort of small-time talent that would stay here on this planet. Like, the first line is basically whining. どうして奴の名前が出てくるんだよ? Like, why are we talking about Sid? Look, unlike that utterly mediocre rich kid, what, I'm not so small time that I would stay here on this planet. He's such an asshole. Yeah, why would you hang out with that loser instead of me? He's coming off very aggressive. He's upset here. And then the English is so boring. Like, this is what I mean when I say that the English version of the game isn't funny. Spare me, I'm a man of great ambition and greater intellect, far beyond the scope of anything Garland could hope to achieve. He still keeps his head in the clouds while I set my sights to the stars beyond. Where's any of the catty bitch shit? In the Japanese, he is being catty. Like, he's like fucking sulking, basically. It's funny. This is actually humorous. Like, the English version of the game is so humorless. It's so bland and boring. I saw this line in the Japanese and immediately started laughing. Because look at him go! Look at this asshole go! What an insane thing to say! The thing that he takes issue with is that she brought up Sid. It's like, why are you talking about Sid? Don't talk about Sid.
それで、バブイルの塔に入り込んでいたってわけか。だが、その様子だと、お前も偽真珠に阻まれて、月には行けなかったようだな。
It's like, so that's why you were in the Tower of Babel, but from the looks of things, just like us. You got, what, blocked by the false divine beast and couldn't make it to the moon? Right? Am I right?
お前らが、あの化け物を倒してくれりゃ、話は早かったんだがな。
It's like, what, if you had just dealt with that monster, this would have been a lot easier. This really would have been a lot easier. Or maybe you would say, like, a lot simpler.
月に渡れなくなって、どうしたものかと思ってたら、偽真珠対策に乗り出したと知って、様子見なしてたんだよ。
I couldn't get it to the moon, and I was wondering what I should do. But then I heard that you were planning on dealing with the false divine beast, so I decided I would wait and see how things played out. Like, the point here is he's saying, like, I don't want to be the one to do this. So I was just gonna want to, like, you know, I've got to find some way to get to the moon, but, like, I don't want to be the one to do it, so if you guys were gonna do it, then by all means be my guest.
なるほど、あの魔導技術の天才、シド会長を上回るほどの才能ともなれば、すでに何か情報をお持ちなのではありませんか?
Holy shit, God, said Oh. This is both backhanded and probably flattery. I see, if the, you know, absolute Magitech genius, far surpassing. It's like for a absolute Magitech genius like yourself, far surpassing Sid, you must have some ideas to, or like you must have some information for us. You must, you know, you're saying like you must know something about what's going on here.
クックック、わかっているじゃないか。このネロ様が、助け舟を出してやろう。
He's just taking the bait. That was very clearly backhanded, but he's like, oh, I see you get it. Ah, I see you get it. Well then, the magnanimous great Nero, will, offer you a hand in your time of need.
バブイルの塔のシステムに侵入して調べたんだが、塔の端末の一つが、まだ起動しているらしくてな。
I hacked into the, Yeah, that is, like, hacked into. The Tower of Babel systems to see what I could find, and it looks as though, one of the, tower's terminals is still operational.
終末の塔がですが、すべての塔は消滅したはず。
Towers of the Apocalypse, but they were all thought to have vanished.
お前らは、塔の核になっていた、バリスの遺物を、すべて回収した気になっていたらしいが、残ってたんだよ。ファブリ核の北あたりにな。
You all thought that you had recovered every last one of what Varys's relics that made up the cores of these towers, but there was one left behind in the northern part of the, Fabrica district?
ファブリカ区は魔道場、バブイルの塔を挟んで北側に位置するガレマルドの工業区だ。
Okay, the Fabrica district is a, industrial area of Garlemald? Yeah, on the northern end of the... on the northern side of the Magic Castle, the Tower of Babwheel. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're calling it. I'm assuming it's Fabrica as in, fabrication.
もともと、エブラーな表現は、人が住むのに適した土地じゃない。寒さは、もちろん、お前らが大好きなエーテルが薄く、生物にとって、過酷な環境だからだ。
お前らが大好きなエーテル。What a ridiculous thing to say. お前らが大好きなエーテル。The Abrana ice fields were never suited for human habitation. Yeah, not only is it bitterly cold, but the ether that you all love so much is incredibly thin, making it incredibly difficult for any living thing to survive there.
だからこそ、終末の塔がそうであったように、地脈の結節点として、バリスミカドの遺物を利用していたのですね。
Okay, that's why they were using, the items left behind by Emperor Varys as, focal points for the ley lines. Just like with the Towers of the Apocalypse.
塔のシステムを、ほじくり返して分かったことだが、そこに仕込まれた遺物は、陛下の、皇帝の、心臓だったらしい。
Precisely. After... doing some digging into the... tower systems, I discovered that the, artifact embedded in the... embedded there... Or artifact Ibitsu, they're saying relic. I guess you would just say the item embedded there was His Majesty, that is, the Emperor's heart.
すべての血を集め、巡らせるそれを使うことで、エーテルを集める仕掛けを使っていたようだな。
Oh, how do you even word this? This isn't a difficult concept. He's comparing the circulation of blood to, like, the circulation and centralization of ether, right? They were, like, using that thing which... what gathers or accumulates and circulates blood to instead... gather and circulate ether, maybe?
人が作った仕掛けを使ってエーテルを吸い上げて守りを固めるなんざいかにもシアオ神社のネルーアらしいぜ。
You're using a... what, device created by someone else to... what, accumulate... like, what, to siphon ether and defend himself? But perfectly fitting for a coward like Nerua.
おっと、つい口が滑っちまった。ちょっとした軽口だ。そう閣下するなよ。
What an asshole. Oh, sorry, I let that slip. Karaguchi? That's not really like... that's not really saying it was a joke. I don't know, you might say just a little joke, or I didn't mean anything by it. Don't get all worked up. Yeah, no need to get all worked up like that. Oh, come on! That's so kakka suru na yo. Like, that's explicitly demeaning of saying, like, come on, don't... you know, don't start freaking out. Don't get all offended. Ugh. Did I say that aloud? You'll forgive me if I fail to show concern for your ire. They don't know how these sort of people talk. They completely lacked the charisma. It's like, come on, I didn't really mean it. Don't get all worked up.
それが事実なら、ただでさえ希薄なガレマルドの環境エーテルは吸い尽くされてしまいます。やがて、この土地は復興など叶わぬ永久焦土と化しましょ
う。Okay, if that's true, the already scarce ambient ether of Garlemald will be entirely, what, drained or exhausted. In time, this, what, whole land will be transformed into a permanent, barren wasteland. With no hope for its restoration.
直ちにバリスミカドの心臓を回収してエーテル吸収を止めねばなりません。さすれば障壁もなくなり偽真珠を襲うことも叶うはず。
Okay, we must. So, then we must immediately retrieve Emperor Varys' heart and cease this etheric, this absorption of ether. Doing so should remove the barrier, making it possible to deal with the false divine beast.
それを我らにやらせようというのだな。
Yeah, and then it's like, and so you're just going to wait for us to do that, are you?
ご明察だ。
ご明察。
そのうち答えにたどり着くだろうと、しばらく黙って見ていたんだが、そうもいかない事情が出てきてな。
What a piece of shit! Gomesatsu. She says, what, so you're just going to sit by while we do all the hard work? Yes, precisely. I mean, honestly, this Gomesatsu is... I don't know, you might even go with like, that's correct, very well done. And knowing you all, I figured you'd come to the conclusion on your own, and... And so I was planning on... well, just standing by and watching, but it appears as though I don't have the luxury of doing that anymore. You know, he's saying like, you know, somebody sniffed me out, it seems.
あの塔はアニマを核とするために設計されている。偽真珠が無理やりその核になったことで塔に大きな負荷がかかっているんだ。
Okay, that tower was originally designed to use anima as its core. And now with this false divine beast, what forcibly... or like, yeah, being forced to become its core in its place, the tower is under intense strain.
俺様が計算したところ、限界は近いらしい。ほどなく偽真珠もろともバブイルの塔は大爆発。周辺の地脈は破壊され、復興どころじゃなくなるだろうよ。
Yeah, according to my calculations, we're quite near the tower is quite near its limit. Before long, the Tower of Bobwheel, along with the False Divine Beast, yeah, will explode. Daibakatsu is more than just, like, explode. No, it's going to violently explode. The surrounding ley lines will be utterly destroyed and leaving absolutely no hope for restoration.
もちろん塔がなくなれば月への門も閉ざされる。そうなったらいかに俺様でもお手上げだ。
Of course, with the tower gone, passage to the moon will be closed off. In that case, then, you know, even I would be out of options.
ならば、ますますことを急がねばなりませんね。
In that case, we need to move quickly.
だが、大まかな区画が分かったとしても、手のひらに収まるほどの心臓をどうやって見つけ出す？
Okay, but even if we know the district that it's in, how do we go about finding a heart that's, no bigger than your fist?
心当たりがある。
I have an idea.
精神を汚染され、強制的に働かされていた頃の記憶がおぼろげに残っているんだ。
I have faint memories of... Yeah, I have faint memories of when I lost my sanity and was forced to work.
私はマグナ・グラキエスに派遣される前、ファブリカ区の一角で建築作業を命じられていた。
Okay, before being deployed to Magna Gracias, I was ordered to, do construction work in part of the, what did you just say, in the Fabrica district?
そうに違いない。場所も覚えているので、私が案内しよう。
It has to be in that... You just say that facility, that, like, strange or odd facility. I remember where it is, I'll lead the way.
どうやら当たりのようだな。だが、偽真珠が獣に身を守らせていたのと同様に、防備を固められているかもしれんぞ。
Oh, looks like you know where you're going. I don't know, you might say, like, looks like you hit the mark. What, just how the, false divine beast uses other beasts to protect itself. This thing, too, might... I don't know, be defending itself? That's a weird way of saying it. Be on its guard.
縦に分かれた方が早そうだな。俺たちはウェルギリアと共にバリスの心臓を回収する。そうすればエーテルの供給は断たれ、魔法障壁は消えるはずだ。
Okay, we're splitting up. I'm just gonna kind of paraphrase this. He's just saying we're splitting up. We'll get Varus's heart with Vergilia. That should cut off the Swive Ether and get rid of the barrier.
主力部隊がバブイルの塔へ。障壁さえ消えちまえば偽真珠なんざ。
Okay, and then while we're doing that, the main force will head into the Tower of Bovil. If the power, once the barrier is gone, you should. You and the he's talking about, like, the alliance leader people should be able to deal with the false divine based, yeah. Alright. Sounds good, we got this. Easy. Is Nero going to do anything to help?
私だ、何かあったのか?
It's me, did something happen?
なんだって?わかった、すぐに連れ戻そう。
What? I understand. Oh, what, we'll bring them back right away?
派遣団からの緊急連絡だ。キャンプブロークングラスにいた若い機関車たちがバブイルの塔の方へ向かったそうだ。
Okay, we've got a urgent message from the, contingent. Some, like, young refugees at Camp Broken Glass have started making their way to the Tower of Bovil.
機関車たちの中でも特に愛国心が強い者たちだったようでな。皇族ネルーアが潜伏しているのだと誤解して暴挙に出たらしい。
Okay, it seems that amongst them were those who were particularly patriotic. And apparently they, believing mistakenly that Nerua was, still alive and in hiding, they, acted violently? Okay, they should be around here, still. Let's find them, bring them back.
面倒に関わるのが嫌で、しばらく黙って見ていたんだ。そんな奴らは放っておけばいいんだよ。
But it's precisely because I didn't want to get caught up in that sort of obnoxious matter that I don't know, that's, like, even a little bit too fancy. It's like, but it's precisely because I, like, hate getting mixed up in that sort of thing that I watch from the sidelines. Really, you're better off just leaving those sort of people alone.
助けられる人が目の前にいるときに我が身を案じて助けぬというのは大だというもの。今の私を支える言葉だ。
Okay, he's just repeating the quote to not help those in front, or to not save those who you could save out of concern for your own safety is nothing more than laziness. Those are the words that I live by today.
俺をすまないが君も一緒に。
Okay, going with Fortunal.
私は偽真珠討伐に向かう主力部隊を
Okay, she's going back to Camp Broken Glass to assemble the force to actually deal with the false divine beast. So I mean, technically we're not even losing time.
さて、俺はこの辺で一服しとくか。
Yeah, well then. I guess I'll just, take a break around here? Somewhere around here? He's just not gonna do anything to help. Wonderful. Okay. One moment, please. I'll be right back. Gotta go to the bathroom. Don't go nowhere. If there's one character archetype that's done the best in Final Fantasy XIV, it has to be smug assholes. Nero and Emmett Selk. They're just so much fun anytime they're on screen.
同行の申し出を受けてくれて助かった。このような事態になろうとは想定しておらず、武器を持ってきていないのだ。
Okay. Thank you for agreeing to come with me. I hadn't anticipated this turn of events, so I'm unarmed. Okay, yeah, he's saying I can't do anything to help. That's been the case with, like, all of these, little segments in the role quests. They've just said, oh, I can't help you in a fight. Man, it's so depressing seeing, like, Nero's lines in English. Okay, we don't see him anywhere. Because they're just so much fun in the Japanese, and then so boring in the English. There's just so much character and vibrance to the script. Help me! That's right, we need to hurry. Whoa. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, man, you good? Thank you for saving us. You're the ones who it's like what came to talk to us or like ask us questions. We heard that Lord Neruel is in the Magitech Castle, Fortress, whatever. But then these monsters suddenly jumped out and attacked us. What's going on? Yeah, no, he's not. But they're gonna turn then to
ネルーア様が化け物に
Lord Nerva became a monster.
なんてこった。やっぱり、俺たちには、もう居場所は残されてないんだな。
Damn it. No. I guess there really is no place for us in this
そ
world.
んなことはない。君のような若者こそ、新たな国家の建設に加わればいい。無論、我がシャーレアンへの移住という選択肢もある。
You're mistaken. Yeah, that isn't true. What is, young people like you who ought to take part in building this new nation, of course. You also have the option of, emigrating to Charlayan.
そう簡単に割り切れるものかよ。新たな国家とやらは、俺が愛した帝国とは別物だ。それに、他国で生きるくらいなら、のたれ死にを選ぶね。
そう簡単に割り切れるものかよ。Okay. It's like, I can't accept that. Yeah, this new nation would, it's like nothing like the empire I loved, empire I once loved, and like, I would, rather notareji. That's not just saying die, it's like I would rather die in a ditch, basically, than live in a foreign nation.
失われた故郷を夢に見ながら自ら死を選ぶというのか
So then, you would choose to die, dreaming, fantasizing about the home that you lost.
それだけの覚悟があるならば、古き国家の枠組みなど飛び越え、新天地を目指すべきだ。
But if you have that sort of resolve, you ought to transcend the restraints or the framework of this old nation and aim for a new frontier? I'm not entirely sure what he's referring
新天
to.
地だとどこにそんなものがあるというんだ
A new frontier, a new world. Where could that possibly be? Oh, the
月
moon.
にある。
The moon.
我々は月をいかなる国家にも属さぬ人類の英知の集積地とする計画を立てているのだ。その理念に賛同してもらえるなら共に来てほしい。
But we plan to transform the moon into or to make the moon into a, archive repository of all the collective wisdom of humanity belonging to no nation. Belonging to, no one nation. But if that is something that you would like to see done, I ask you to join me.
ガレアン人は誰よりも魔導技術に機械操作に長けている。進んだ知識を持つ月の民、レポリットたちともきっと対等に渡り合えるだろう。
The Garlean people excel in the fields of magitech and technology, I'm sure you would be capable of standing on equal footing with the Deporit upon the moon, who with their like advanced knowledge.
は、何を言っている？今さら、そんなところへ。
What are you talking about? Yeah, again, imasara.
いいじゃないか。
I don't even know what you would do for that. He's just kind of generally saying, like, what, we're going to go to the moon? Without just saying that? いいじゃないか. Why not?
いいか、よく聞けよ。帝国を強国へと発展させてきたガレアン人の本質は、現状や過去に甘んじることなく、進歩を続けることにある。
Yeah. So here's the quest name drop. This is the quest name drop. The Garean no what? Honshitsu? This is the name of the quest. What is the name of the quest in English? Misguided Few. Go fuck yourself. Just like go fuck yourself. Nero here is describing like a positive identity for the Garlean people. Right? He's summing up like, this is what we Garleans are all about. Like, this is who we are. A cultural identity. You could do something like, you could call this quest like, to be Garlean. And then have him say like, here, to be Garlean is to. That's what you should do, or something like that. Like, we Garleans, who we are. Like, how we made the Empire into such a, like, world power. Was that we never, allowed ourselves to be, content. With the status quo. We constantly strove to move forward. Like, he's describing, like, the spirit of the Garlean people as being one of innovation, advancement, of not just being satisfied with the status quo, of challenging things, etc.
俺は、その通りに生きてきた。時に負け、辛酸を舐めたことだってあったが、それでも、どこにいようと、俺は高みを目指してきた。
Yeah, that's how I've lived my life. There's been times where I've failed, when I've suffered hardship, but no matter where I found myself, I always strove for greatness. Or strove for, you could say, like, great heights. Aimed high.
瓦礫の山に変わろうが、俺の技術は変わらねえ。むしろ、さらなる高みを目指して、まだ見ぬ知識が眠る月に、行ってみたくて、うずうずしてるんだ。
Yeah, even if our homeland is reduced to a pile of rubble, my skill hasn't changed. You know, my knowledge hasn't changed. In fact, I'm itching to to go even higher. All the way to the moon where this... Like, what do you say for this? Like, undiscovered knowledge awaits me?
聞けば、終末の獣ってのは、絶望した奴が鳴るらしい。だとしたら、なぜ、お前たちは、人のままでいるんだ?
From what I've heard, what beasts of the apocalypse are those who've fallen to despair. Oh, in that case, why are you still human?
帝国は滅びた。だが、お前たちは終わってないし、終わってるとも思ってないんだよ。これからは好きに生き、好きに高みを目指せばいいってこった。
Yeah, the Empire is fallen, but... It's like, what? But you haven't. Or like, you know, you're not... Yeah, you're not finished. I don't know, you can either say like, but you haven't and you don't want to. From, you know, you're free to live your life, aim as high as you want. Live how you like, aim as high as you want. And then here's Nettle. He's like, 知ったこっちゃないんだ。知ったこっちゃないだがな. It's saying like, well, personally, I couldn't give a shit. No, I couldn't care less if you fall to despair or die in a ditch somewhere.
わかった。腐ったままの垂れ死ににするくらいなら、やってやる。好きだろうと、どこだろうと言って、高みってやつを見てやるよ。
Yeah, fine. You know, if I was just gonna die anyway, then I'll do it. You know, whether I'll like, aim high. This, like, Takami. It doesn't really work as well in the English. Like, you could possibly do the whole, like, aim high thing. You know, it's like, you could say, like, I'll go to the moon wherever it takes me. You know, I'll aim for the top. Aim high.
俺も学生だった頃は、新技術に夢中になって、魔導店に出品する作品を作ってたっけ。常に高みを目指す、か。
But the thing is that the whole, like, takami o mezasu is like, they are literally aiming high, they are looking up. You know, you could say greater heights. Something like that. Yeah, back when I was a student, I was, you know, obsessed with... Honestly, you could maybe say that at this point. You know, obsessed with developing new technology. I even used to... display inventions at the... Magitech exhibitions. Even greater heights, huh?
では、そのためにも我々は、偽真珠を倒さねばならないな。
So then... But for this dream of yours to become a reality, we must defeat this false divine beast. Yes.
皇族を敬愛していた気持ちは今も変わりない。だが、ネルーア様がそんな化け物になってしまったのなら、どうか安らかに眠らせてやってくれ。
It's like, even now I still would respect the Imperial family, but if Lord Nerua has truly become a monster, then please let him rest in peace.
迷惑かけてすまなかった。俺たちはキャンプに戻るよ。
I'm sorry for the trouble we've caused. We'll go back to the camp now.
感謝する。君のおかげで説得することができた。しかし、面倒人に関わるのは嫌だったのでは？
Thank you. We were able to persuade them. But I thought you said you didn't want to get involved in, you hated getting involved in these troublesome matters, whatever.
よくわからん他人のために振り回されるやつが大嫌いなんでね。文句の一つでも言ってやりたかっただけだ。
So much fun, so much fun. I love getting disconnected from the server right at the end of a cutscene. I love it, I love it, I love it. One moment, please. Yup, just a little internet flicker. That's such a pain in the ass. That's such a pain in the ass, man. Okay. And we're back. I'm gonna have to... Oh, there's gonna be so many unskippable animations.
魔道場にネルア様がいると聞いたんだが、中から
Okay, okay, yeah.
一体どうなってるんだ？そんなことはない。君のような若者こそ、そう簡単に割り切れるものかよ。新たな国家とやらは、俺が愛し、失われた故郷を
Hey, remember how I said...
から死を選ぶ。それだけの覚悟があるならば、古き国家の枠組みなど飛び越え、新天地。
Hey, remember how I said, like, he was basically saying, like, what, you're asking us to go up onto the moon without actually saying that? Because, like, that would be lame and stupid? You really expect us to go and live on the bloody moon? Is such a thing even possible? Looks directly at the camera. You can always be certain that they'll go for the lowest hanging fruit.
月にいいじゃない。
Yeah, and then they translated that いいじゃないか。
よく聞けよ。帝国を強国へと発展させてきたガレアン人の本質は現状や
They translated that いいじゃないか。
進歩を続けることにある。
To have you a better alternative. I don't know, this would be like... Wait, I think you might go with like, wait, what, are you serious? And then Nero comes in and says, why not? Like, the いいじゃないか. It's like, what is, why not? Not, have you a better alternative? It's effective specifically because of how blunt it is. That's like his whole deal.
ま、俺はお前たちがのたれ死のうが絶望しようが知ったこっちゃな。わかった。腐ったま、確か 皇族を敬愛していた気持ちは今も変わりない。迷惑か感謝する。俺は皇族なんてよくわからん他人のために振り回されるやつが大嫌いなんでね。文句の一つでも言ってやりたかっただけだ。
Yeah, no, they completely fucked this line up for him too. He says, like, I can't stand people who get all caught up in or get, manipulated by the royal family, total strangers to him. I just wanted to, give him a piece of my mind. Let him know what I really thought.
それにいくつもの国がつるんで月に進出しようっていうのにガレアン人が一人もいないってのは気に食わない。
Besides, it bothers me that we've got all of these nations, working together to explore the moon, but there's not a single Garlean up there.
いざとなればあいつらから月の情報も仕入れられるしな。
What, if it comes down to it, I can always get information about the moon from him? This is some classic Sun. He's like, I'm not sentimental.
全く結局
Yeah, Nerua's Empire. Ooh. In English, this is called Forlorn Glory. That doesn't seem right.
さて、私たちもキャンプブロークングラスに戻ろう。塔の限界を考えれば時間の猶予はない。すぐさま偽真珠の討伐に向かわねば。
Okay, we're going to go back to Camp Broken Glass. Considering the state of the tower, there's no time to spare. We gotta go.
「いよいよ偽真珠の討伐だな。カヌエ殿より状況を伺いたいところだが。
It's finally time to deal with the falsifying beast. I wanted to get more information about the situation from Kana Sena. Okay.
鬼方ともご苦労様でした。偽真珠討伐に向かう主力部隊の準備も整いました。心強い援軍も到着しておりますよ。
Thank you for your efforts. But all preparations are complete for the main force. Oh my god, how do you even say this? She's just saying that the group of people who are ready to go deal with the falsified beast have finished their preparations. What, some rather dependable reinforcements have also arrived? He's not dressed for the cold at all.
すまない、遅くなった。他で協力できなかった分、戦いで貢献させてくれ。
Okay. Appears we, barely made it in time to assist with defeating the falsified beast. My apologies for my lateness. Allow me to, make up for lost time in the fight.
遅れてしまい、かたじけない。わしも目いっぱい、刀を振るわせてもらおう。
Okay, he's just apologizing as well. And this blade of mine is yours to command, etc.
感謝します。
Thank you for being here.
はい、ええ、ご苦労様でした。
Yes. Yes, I understand. Thank you.
ロレンス殿から心臓の回収に成功したと報告がありました。これで偽真珠は障壁を失ったはずです。
Okay, we've received report from Lawrence that the, heart has been successfully retrieved. The barrier surrounding the false divine beast, or the false divine beast barrier should be down.
そうか。ならば、我らも直ちにバブイルの塔に乗り込もう。
Right then, let's... Yeah, like march into or storm the Tower of Babel at once. Okay.
暫定政権樹立の話し合いを進めていたメルウィブ提督とアイメリック卿も現地で合流する予定です。
Okay, I'm making Medwib. We've been discussing the establishment of the provincial government, like the interim government. Are also planning on meeting us at the tower. Meeting us on site.
乗りかかった船だ。俺様も参戦してやんよ。
Ah, this is fun, like the norikakatta fune. He's using a lot of naval expressions. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? It's like saying, like, I'm already on the boat, right? I guess what's the English for that? I guess, like, I'm in too deep, or... I mean, you might say, like, too late to get off now. I'll get in, yeah, help out in the fight. Yeah, after all, if I don't use my... But if I don't use my armor or hammer, from time to time they'll rust. You know, gun hammer. Why can't we get that class? Why can't that be a class, by the way? The, like, Magitech Brawler. Give me that. Let me have one of those sick-ass gun hammers. I think we're getting something maybe remotely similar. But I want the full power armor experience. And I won't just stand idly by. I don't remember what I went with for this. I don't remember what I went with for this. This is like the sage weapon, right? Like... Yeah, what, can you fight? You know, I've never seen you fight before.
この旅は、シャーリャンの頼みで各国に動いてもらった。その発起人としての責務を果たすまでだ。
What? It's like, is that Charlane's request that the various nations are here today? As such, I have a responsibility to see this through.
子供たちほどではないが、これでも若かりし、頃には剣具を手に戦いもしたのだ。支援程度ならやってみせよう。
I might not be as... I guess you would say, like, talented as... Or, like, though not as much as my... Alfino Reales AI. Once used these... I can't remember. I had a translation for these in battle. At the very least, I should be able to provide you some amount of support. It's the Sage implement. I had a translation for it, and I don't remember.
それではおのおの戦支度を整えてバブイルの塔に至るエンセラダス魔導交渉に集まろう。
I mean, if this actually like, if this is actually what we're doing, if we're doing, like, a pseudo 8-man trial, but with all of these characters, that's gonna be kind of fucking awesome. Also, as far as what I'm going to do after this quest line, I'm really not sure. I think I'm leaning towards just finishing off the available MSQ, and then pivoting to, like, job quests, and also weaving in, like, older Final Fantasy games or something, because I really do want to play Final Fantasy VI. You know, there's so many references to these older games that I just don't actually understand. You know, either that or, like, crap, I can't remember which one it would be. Like, the original Xenosaga? Xenogears? Like, the one from the 90s. Because that shit is basically just untranslated. It was done by a, you know, it was a hack rush job done by somebody who was personally offended by the content of it, and went on to be the same guy who had Shantoro rhyme for no reason, so there's like a 0% chance that any of the translation there is accurate. So we could just safely assume Xenogears is an untranslated game.
さて、皆が揃い次第、突入しよう。このクエストバトルでは、他の
I don't remember the exact context, but I did see, like, his... No, I believe he was a translator, but he was like, nobody else wanted to even work on it because they were like, oh, it's completely sacrilegious. And he was also just openly like, I didn't like this either because I was a Jehovah's Witness at the time and I found it to be, like, objectionable too. So, 0% chance any of it is accurate. And considering the track record, he's not to be trusted. If I was gonna do Xenogears, I would not even want to look at the English at all. Like, I would just treat it as a game that has never been translated. Because, like, fuck looking up a script for that game, too. I'm here for esoteric Gnostic shit. Not for what a random Jehovah's Witness thought of esoteric Gnostic shit. God, he's so cool.
これで揃ったようだな。
Looks like we're all here.
偽真珠を守るように増築区画に集まっていた。 そこまでは難なく進むことができるはずだ。
I mean, a lot of that stuff really does fall under the general umbrella of esoteric thought, or like esoteric occult thought. But from what I've seen, at least, there's a heavy amount of, like, Gnosticism and Gnostic lore thrown in there. I'm fairly certain that, like, Gnosis is specifically name-dropped a lot. I hate the Demiurge, I hate the Demiurge. With the falsifying beast is in the, what, detachment or something? Yeah, okay, there's beasts in the, there to, what, protect the false divine beast. We should be able to make it there without any difficulty. Whoa, fuck. Ah, this is bad.
どうに限界が来ちまってるらしい。このままじゃ大爆発して月への門も崩れちまう。
The tower's, what, hitting its limit sooner than I thought. If this goes on any longer, it'll explode and the gate to the moon is gonna collapse. It's gonna shut down forever. And the only way to stop it is to eliminate Nerua. Let's do this. I would need to see what means I have of obtaining it. I think I might actually own it. But, like, you know, that would be the English version. I do have, like, a decent amount of... Yeah, so a whole horde of beasts will be there to meet us along the way. I would infinitely prefer not running MU. Okay, yeah, so they're splitting off to buy us time in a dramatic way. They just don't know when to give up. I do actually have, like, a good amount of old-ass, obscure RPGs on PS1 and PS2. Like... Like, I have a fucking PS2 copy of Baroque. Nobody played that game. Fucking nobody played that game. How the fuck did you get Baroque? Local random game store back in, like, you know, 2000 whatever. See, because that was the thing. I very much so liked those sort of, like, more obscure RPGs back in the day. And back then, nobody gave a shit. Right? Nobody actually gave a shit about them. You know, this was in the era where Japanese games and, like, JRPGs in general were seen as basically just kind of like weird and low class. But I mean, like, you know, I had all the Persona games, you know, well, not all of them, of course, because nobody played Persona, like, 1 or 2, really. But, like, I had a copy of Nocturne. Old SMT games were very much my jam. I still maintain, like, the Devil Survivor series is massively underrated. Those games are fucking awesome. And, God, fucking SMT Strange Journey. Love that game. Absolutely love Strange Journey.
この数まともに相手していては間に合わん。我が輩が雑魚を片付ける。皆は大物。相わかった。わしが必殺剣で切り込む。オレオも続いてくれ。さあたけろ。受験理想だよ。不死送電の必殺剣よ。
But yeah, I actually looked it up recently because, you know, I don't actually have those copies in my possession. They're back at my parents' house, but, like, my mom took some pictures of, like, some of the old collection. I'm like, wait a second, that's a copy of Baroque. I'm fairly certain that a, like, good quality copy of Baroque on the PS2 is worth, like, pretty good money these days. I also randomly had, like, all of the Gungrave games, despite not even really liking them. Yeah, that's all of the small fry. Nope, there's still more. There's more. I don't know, it's like what? How can there be this many? Okay, we can't afford to waste any more time here. Hop on, Bull. But hold the line here. Alright, we'll handle this. You go on ahead. Ooh. That's a cool design. What, be gone? Yeah, that's be gone from my empire. That's fairly important. Can't see shit, Captain. Oh.
剣具展開緊急回避を行うぞ。
Come on. Whoa. Nice. Clean.
さて、ここからは我らの反撃と意図を。
What was that tiny little jump to nowhere? Oh, god damn it. I really popped this right as we're about to do. I mean, it's fine. It's an AoE too. But it's, I mean, he's gonna deal with basically all of it, isn't he? So, like, what was the point? Yeah, he's gonna deal with all of it, so what's the point? God damn it. Just totally wasting my double. This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit, man. I'm mad. I'm mad. You wasted my damage phase. There's no way it's down. We're gonna have like some extra phase too, right? Oh no. Okay. Oh. Oh, that's a cool line. That's a cool line. Fuck. Because, like, you don't want to say, okay, goodbye is not really accurate for this genre. It's so much more casual, but I don't think you can actually really... I don't think you can get this casual in English. I think you might just have to say goodbye, but I don't like it. You know, so long is maybe an option. Like... yeah, so long, my beloved homeland. You might even say, like, my beloved Garlemald. Oh, shut up. The English just says, for glory everlasting indeed. That's not... He's explicitly making a statement that here and now, Garlemald is gone. It looks like you've handled things. Are we? Yeah, are we out of the woods?
偽真珠の消滅で、塔への負荷はなくなったんでな。もう爆発する恐れはないはずだぜ。ま、一発ってところだったがな。
Yeah, okay, with the, pulse to be divine beast gone, the excess strain on the tower. There shouldn't be any more excess strain on the tower. It shouldn't be at risk of exploding anymore. But It was a close call. It was
皆
close.
様のおかげで、月への門が無事に開けました。この旅の尽力に感謝します。
Thanks to you, our pathway to the moon has been opened once more. You all have my thanks.
我ら、シャーレアンは、地の集積者として、歴史の観察者たれという理念のもと、徹底した非干渉主義を貫いてまいりました。
We, the Charlayans, have adhered to strict non-intervention. Guided by the principle that we ought to be gatherers of knowledge, observers of history.
すべては、終末来たりし時に、星からの大撤収を敢行するという使命のため。
Yeah, for the sake of our great mission. To evacuate. Yeah, evacuate the planet. When the apocalypse came.
今でも、その行いが間違っていたとは思いません。
This is the thing that I love about this. See what I mean? He says, even now I don't believe that was wrong. Like, these characters disagree with one another. Even now I do not believe what we did to be wrong.
しかし、我らが理念に逆行した暁の決命こそが終末そのものを退けてみせたのはご存知の通り、かくて人は星を捨てずに済んだのです。
And yet, as you all know, it was the blood oath of the coming dawn who directly opposed our principles. And in doing so, ended the apocalypse at its source. And so, humanity has no need now to abandon our world?
ならば、
Abandon our planet?
これからなすべきは、彼女らに倣って、この星の調和を保っていくこと。支配と拒絶ではなく、協調と対話によって、進歩の道を歩むのです。
And so what we must do is follow their example. Or like them, emulate them. And preserve, harmony on this planet. Forging a path of, progress through not it's like dominion and this Kyosetsu isn't really rejection. I get what they mean. I don't know if you can really say rejection. You might say isolation for this, like domination and isolation. But through cooperation and dialogue.
「この新たな理念に賛同いただけるならば、ぜひとも各国の皆様にもご協力いただきたい。
If you are all in agreement with these principles, we would ask for your cooperation.
もちろんです。各国で力を合わせて世界を守っていきましょう。
Of course, let's all nations join together to protect this world. I should have talked to Nero.
どうにか戦いを終えることができて、正直言ってほっとした。やはり私は実戦向きではないらしい。
Okay, yeah, we managed to see this through to an end. Honestly, I'm relieved. Or it's like I made it out of there. I'm really not cut out for combat.
たちはもちろん君の戦いぶりには目を見張るものがあった。さすがはエオルゼアの英雄といったところか。
The same goes for the leaders of the nations, of course, but it was when I was truly in awe of the way that you fought. And he's also got praise as a pain in the ass. I can see why you are the hero of Eorzea.
すでに各国からの救援に来てくれた者たちは帰国の途に着いたが、君たちには改めて礼を言わせてくれ。
Wait, they already left? Okay, the reinforcements from the allied nations have already returned home, but I'd like to thank you once again.
オレオ殿、そしてネロ殿、この旅の尽力に感謝する。本当にありがとう。
Player character, Nero. You have my thanks for all that you've done.
俺は目的のためにお前らを利用しただけだ。礼を言われる筋合いはないね。
I was just using you for my own purposes. There's no reason for you to thank me.
ネルーア様を眠らせてくれたそうだな。ありがとう。これで俺たちも先に進むことができるよ。
I see you've laid Lord Netera to rest. Thank you. Now we can move forward. Oh, it's the deputy. Yes.
やっと解決しましたか。
Living way.
私待ちくたびれましたわ。早く月へと参りましょ
う。Amazing, amazing. Yo, you finally done here? I'm sick of waiting. Come on. Let's go to the moon.
こちら、月の民であり、月面調査隊のオブザーバーのリビングエイドのだ。
Okay, this is Living Way, resident of the moon? The, observer? For the, lunar survey team? Or an observer for the lunar survey team?
希望した者たちだ。これからどうかよろしく頼む。
And these are those who wish to emigrate to the moon. I leave them in your care.
よろしくお願いします。
A pleasure to meet you.
なんと、ついに人の移住者が。
Whoa. It's like, whoa. Wait, Well, finally, there's human immigrants?
もちろん大歓迎ですわ。月の環境は私たちレポリットが手塩にかけて人の皆様のために築いてきた。
Of course, you're more than welcome. And we've carefully constructed the lunar environment to be perfect for you humans.
私は護衛役の
Oh no.
と合流した後、
It is not ready.
彼らを連れて月へと行ってくる。
They're gonna be nothing but carrots. Okay, after rendezvousing with my guard escort Lawrence, I'll take the lunar survey team and these people to the moon. We are quite behind
申し
schedule.
訳ないが、ラザハンのシーラバート殿にもよろ
Okay, so this is just saying go back to Razan and finish the quest.
おい、ちょっと待て。俺も月へ行くんだよ。
Hey, wait, I'm going to the moon too! Amazing. Oh, come... It's the same joke. It's the same joke every single time. This, like... I think a solid 95% of supposed humor in the English script for Final Fantasy XIV is just this. It's just this lazy lampshade hanging. It's just pointing out the situation. Residents, oh no. I mean, oh yes, splendid. After many, many long years of planning and preparation, the moon is absolutely, most definitely ready to accommodate your stay. Directly address the wacky setup. That's comedy, right? No. This is like new Simpsons or new Family Guy level writing. Just address the situation as being weird. Are we gonna actually make a joke? No, we're just gonna go, wow, look at this. Isn't this crazy? The actual joke there was that Livingwood was freaking out that finally there's people. And then she had to collect herself and be like, no, come on, don't blow this. Right? Like, the real joke is that she's trying to not seem too excited. Rather than seeming like, oh man, it's not ready. It's like, it's cute. It's fun.
聞いたよ君。ガレマルドの偽真珠を打ち払ってくれたんだってね。本当によく。
Okay, yeah, this is just recap.
これにて全て討伐された。ここで偽真珠対策を取りまとめてきた私にとってはようやく本当の意味で
Okay, all of the like beasts have been dealt with. Yeah, having coordinated the efforts here, it feels finally as though the apocalypse has come to an end.
討伐に尽力してくれたこと、各国の武官と聖戦士団一同を代表して感謝を述べさせてくれ。本当にどうもありがとう。そしてお疲れ様。
Okay, yeah, on behalf of the, all of us here and the, Celestials, allow me to express my gratitude. Thank you so much and well done. Excellent. Those are really good. Good ass world building. Excellent character development. I really like that they actually gave us the time to go back through the various allied nations and see them implement the changes that they said they were going to do. Right? Like, it's easy enough for them to say, like, oh, Merylwib said that they're going to try and smooth things over with the Sahagin and the Kobolds, but it's another to actually show that happening and really dig deep into the themes of the story and, you know, the fundamental principles of these various nations. And the fact that all of these, like, you know, they can reach a similar conclusion through different means. Right? They all reach the conclusion that we should be working together to prevent things like this from happening again. But they come at it from different stances while maintaining their own sets of diverse principles. You know, they aren't just like all suddenly... It's not like, oh, we've just all become Charlayan now, or we've all become, like, whatever, Eorzin nation, whatever. It's not like they're all just adopting the philosophy of the Dawn. It's very well written. It's very believable that these characters have had these changes of heart while still maintaining their, like, cultural identities. It's very good. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just go back into MSQ until I'm done. Even if that leaves me with just, like, no more MSQ. Fairly quickly. But then, I'm actually pretty close to having all of the classes at 80 to be able to do the job quests through to the end. I do have one class of each type to 100 finally, so I could do the Dawn Trail role quests as well. So I've still got a shit ton of game to do. I was kind of wanting to avoid being, like, out of MSQ and then just going and doing job quests and stuff, but I feel like it's kind of unavoidable at this point. So I think, rather than trying to pivot to some random hour-long thing here, I'm just gonna call it a day since I need to run some errands as well. This role quest series was excellent. Huge fan of it. Probably, I mean, this is the best role quest series. You know, like, I do think that this was better than the Shadowbringers ones. By, like, a lot, actually. It's not like the Shadowbringers ones were bad, but it was a lot of very similar stories. Whereas this had a lot more variety, I feel like. You know, the Shadowbringers one definitely came together into a more cohesive whole, I think. You know, because ultimately it was about the OG Warriors of Darkness. But this one had, I think, a stronger through line in terms of there being a unifying theme. But yeah, very good times, very fun times. God, I love this game. That is gonna do it for me. Thanks for stopping by. Peace out.